Hi, my name is Vanya Martinez, and I'm going to talk about the Siop model. First, we need to know what the Siop model is. It's an acronym to the Shelter Instruction Observation Protocol, and it's a system that helps teachers to plan a lesson or a class to students that are learning a new language. In this case, it would be the English, and it's formed, yes, it's formed for eight components. The first is the lesson preparation. Here's when we establish the objectives of the class, and we have two kinds of objectives, it's the content and the language objectives. The first is what, like me as a teacher, what am I going to teach to my students? And the second one is how am I going to teach them? And it's also important to know their needs and their abilities and to adapt the content to make it more comprehensible and understandable to the students. And the students also make connections between their own knowledge and experiences and the new content. The second one is building backgrounds. Here's when the students make links between previous learning and new concepts. Uh, we are going to present the keywords and the concepts and the new vocabulary. And the concepts should be directly related to students' background experiences. We can also use some materials like a concept map or that kind of tools. The third one is the strategies. Here's when the strategies include the techniques, methods, and mental process that enhance comprehension for learning and retaining information. Learning strategies include metacognitive, cognitive, and social effective strategies. And students should be provided ample opportunities to use learning strategies which have been taught through the explicit instruction. The fourth is the comprehensible inputs, where it's important to know what kind of vocabulary I need to use to make the content understandable to the students. And it should be according to their characteristics, and I shouldn't use complex vocabulary because it will be hard to understand the class. So I should use the body language, gestures, and pictures to accompany spoken words. The five is the interaction. It's important to promote meaningful participation in class to encourage speaking and practice of the language. For example, if I make a question to the group or to a single person, I should give them enough time to respond. Uh, and it will also help them to improve their English and to practice. And I can also use dynamics of the class that allow active individual and group participation. The sixth is the practice and application. Is the use of the materials according to their language skills. For example, it could be reading, writing, speaking, and listening, and they they should be developed in conjunction with one another, and they are also interrelated and integrated naturally. So you can use the kind of materials according to the language skills of the group or of your students, and it would help to be a most effective class. The seven is the lesson delivery. The effectiveness of the class and the achievement of these objectives are reviewed. So this is where you realize if your class have been going well planned or if it's actually effective, because you can see when your students are learning or participating. And it's also important to know that the engagement of your students should be between 19 and 100%. And it also It also reflects the effectiveness of your class. And the last one is the review and assessment. Here's when you evaluate the effectiveness of the class by reviewing the content in different ways and finding out how much information the students learned. For example, you can make the tests or any other kind of evaluation, like uh, asking to the group or making activities that helps to evaluate the information retention. And mm, that will be all. Thank you.